A question from our original documentary is how Admas Fister came to be. Living in the equivalent of a different planet, but Admas still looks and acts almost the same as Pecus, Rubinus, or Gigans Fister. So in this video, we will talk about how Admas Fister came to be. There are two main theories for Admas, the first of which being convergent evolution, and that maybe these ecosystems are a recipe for Fisturidae-like creatures. It is possible that the available dust that can be eaten and the bizarre ability of being able to float despite gravity are perfect for Fisturidae. Although this is possible and all Fisturidae members are decently efficient at this very specific role, here is a better example of a relative of Multiscelli that, although does not exist, would be better at filtering dust. So otherwise, there's the theory that a Fisturidae member somehow traveled between cups. Now this theory is supported by the fact that the current, future, and prehistoric Fisturidae members are actually very strong and can survive extreme heat, being the most resistant. They can also last about 8 days without soda, and the path from one cup to another has more dust than what's actually found in both cups combined. So no matter which member left the cup, any of them would have an excess amount of food and could even account for Admas's large size. The biggest problem with this theory is that how the hell would any member of Fisturidae leave the cup? And would you like to know which one of these is correct? Believe it or not, the progenitor of Pecus, Rubinus, and all other 60s cup Fisturidae members is indeed the ancestor of Admas Fister. But how did the precursor of Fisturidae leave the cup? Well, how dust gets into the cup is by simply falling inside, and usually by the time it gets about halfway to the ground, it breaks down to edible size. But rarely a dust particle won't break down by the time it hits the ground, and the precursor of Fisturidae climbed on top of the dust particle, and the dust particle was swept from the 60s cup and nearby to the 80s cup, and the precursor simply wandered to the 80s cup in search of soda. And that is how we got Admas Fister. That concludes this video on how Admas Fister came to be.